You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day. I was down with an illusion.
Hello, scholar. You are welcome to another interesting class. I'm excited to have you. Our topic today is the history of man and early history of some West African states. The history of man and early history of some West African states. So today we are going to learn about the Stone Age, the discovery of fire, and some early West African states. Okay, so first of all, let's start with the history of man. How did man come about? Some scientists believe that man came from an ape like ancestor. They believe that in the beginning, man was first an ape before he gradually developed into man as we know him to be today. Okay, and also they divided they called that early time of man the Stone Age. Now it was called the Stone Age because during those times the only way man could make his basic tools was with the use of stones. You can see the tools here in the background, they are made from stones. So in the Stone Age, it was a period where man made his basic tools with stones. And the Stone Age is divided into three periods. The Stone Age is divided into three periods, which are the Old Stone Age, the Middle Stone Age, and the New Stone Age. Now let's talk about the Old Stone Age. The Old Stone During the Old Stone Age, man was known as a hunter-gatherer. During the Old Stone Age, man was known as a hunter-gatherer, and that is so because during this period, man was a hunter. He hunted for animals and he gathered leaves and fruits from his surroundings to survive. Okay, so man survived by hunting for animals and gathering leaves and fruits from his environment to survive. He used those as his food. Now, the Middle Stone Age is the period between the Old Stone Age and the New Stone Age, where man continued to learn how to make use of the things in his environment to survive. Okay, so man just continued to learn in the Middle Stone Age. Now, in the New Stone Age, man had learned a lot, and in the New Stone Age, it was the period where man discovered that whenever he threw the seeds from the fruits he ate out into the ground, that new trees would begin to grow. So, in the New Stone Age, man discovered how to farm. So, man learned how to farm in the New Stone Age. Now let's talk about the discovery of fire. Many scientists believe that fire was first discovered in Kenya. Many years ago, fire was first discovered in Kenya, according to scientists. Fire was important to the early man because it served as a source of heat and light, and it also served as a source of protection from dangerous animals. So, man learned how to make fire. Now, how did man make fire in these early times? Man discovered that whenever he rubbed two stones together, there would be sparks of fire. And so the way fire was made in the Stone Age was by rubbing two stones together to give fire. Okay, now let's go over to early history of some West African states. We are going to start with the Nok civilization. The Nok civilization. Scientists found out about the Nok civilization in 1928. Meanwhile, scientists who study about past human life are called archaeologists. And these archaeologists found that the Nok civilization existed 900 years before the birth of Christ. The Nok people used iron to make their utensils and art, as you can see the beautiful art here. Okay, let's go over to the Igbo Uku town. Igbo town is in Anambra State, okay, and archaeologists discovered about the Igbo town in 1939, okay. The Igbo people had great skill in making a lot of things from bronze, copper, and iron, okay. Their forefathers were Igbo people, and they made a lot of beautiful art and jewelry, like as you can see here, from bronze, copper, and iron. Okay, so let's go over to the Zulu people. The Zulu people are from South Africa. The Zulu people are from South Africa. They had a great warrior who was known as Shaka Zulu. Okay, today the Zulu people are the biggest ethnic group in the whole of South Africa. Now let's go over to the Kyokyo people. The Kyokyo people are also in South Africa. They are from South Africa, okay, and they are nomads. A nomad is a person who doesn't have a particular home but moves from place to place. So the Kyokyo people are nomads and they are from South Africa. And that's like I told you, a nomad is someone who doesn't have a fixed home but moves from place to place. Okay, now let's go over to the Aksum people. The Aksum people are from Ethiopia, okay, and Ethiopia is the Aksum people are from Ethiopia, and Ethiopia is a very ancient, a very old kingdom in Africa. The Axum people were famous for their sale of ivory. They used to sell ivories a lot. Ivories are materials that we get most from some animals, okay. So the Axum people sold ivories. They were famous for their sale of ivories. They worshipped their traditional gods, okay, until one of their leaders became a Christian and he converted to Christianity, and many of his followers joined him to become Christians. You can see this building here. This building is the building of a church. Okay, this church is called the St. George Church, and it is in Lalibela in Ethiopia, even unto this day. Okay, now let's go over to the Kikuyu people. Now, these people are the largest ethnic group in Kenya. Okay, they are believed to have migrated from West Africa and they went all the way to Kenya. They settled around Mount Kenya. Okay, now the Kikuyu people are majorly farmers who farm both food crops and cash crops. One of their major cash crops is coffee. Okay, they speak Bantu and they also speak Swahili and English. They also speak Swahili and English. Now, the Mount Kenya is a very important mountain in the whole of Kenya. Now, let's learn about how the name Kenya came about. The country Kenya is named after this mountain here, which is called Mount Kenya. Okay, and the Kikuyu name for Kenya is Kirima, okay? And so the white men couldn't pronounce Kirima very well, so they just named it Kenya, okay? So now let's go over to the Maasai people. The Maasai people are also from Kenya, and they are one of the most famous ethnic groups outside Africa. Okay, they have a very unique way of dressing. Their official color is red, and they always love putting on anything that has a touch of red, as you can see them here. Okay, now the Maasai people are nomads also. I told you earlier on that a nomad is a person who moves from place to place and doesn't have a fixed home where he stays. So the Maasai people are nomads and they are also cattle rearers. They are cattle rearers, and the Maasai people have a very special way of building their houses. They live in small round houses made from stick and cow dung. Okay, so with the beautiful Maasai people, we have come to the end of this topic. In this topic, we have learned about the history of man and early history of some West African states. I believe you learned a thing or two from the lesson. Thank you very much for being a part of the class. Bye bye.